36 hours of soaking on these pinto beans, getting ready to cook. Rinsed 2 different times, cleaned after soaking for 36 hours, ready to go into a pot with ham. Got some spiral cut ham. Cut into a couple of big chunks. It's going into the broth. I'm going to bring that up to a boil and let it cook for maybe 15 minutes to get the flavor in. And then I will add my rinsed beans. Good morning, welcome back to A Country Boy Can Cook. Today, red beans slash pinto beans is what I call red beans, cooked with dumplings. The dumplings will be cooked with the beans. I've got the ham going. I've got some spiral sliced ham that I put in my water to make the broth. I started soaking the beans yesterday morning, 36 hour soak on those. I've washed them a couple of times and cleaned them. As soon as the ham is boiling for about 5 or 10 minutes on high to get the flavor in the water, I will add black pepper, garlic, a little bit of adobo salt, and of course now I'll add the beans in. It's a long cook, it's several hours, but I'll bring you back and show you some pictures along the way. Have a great morning. Talk to y'all later. Alright, the ham has been going in the broth for about 15 minutes. It's on slow simmer. You can see some of the goodness coming to the top. Yeah, a little bit of fat. That ham was pretty clean, not a lot of fat to it. Alright, I've got my washed. I've cleaned these beans 2 or 3 times. They've been soaking for 36 hours. That stock right there with the ham would make great ham soup. But we're going to have pinto beans, or as I refer to them as red beans. Alright, I'm going to bring it back to a boil. And let these babies cook for about at least an hour on a fast simmer. I want it kind of boiling just a little bit. You can see the temps coming on back up. And then I will saute them or on a low cook for a couple of 3 hours until they're tender. I've got the beans simmering. They're probably going to simmer for at least an hour or so until they're tender. And then I will add the dumplings. I have an extra amount of simmering juice because I will add dumplings. If for some reason there's not enough juice, I'll remove some of the beans when I add the dumplings to here. I'm going to use canned biscuits today. They're easy and quick, and I've got some on hand. But you can actually make regular dumpling dough or make cornbread dumpling. Catch y'all later. Checking my red beans just out of the cooker. They've been cooking for about a little over an hour, like an hour and 30 minutes. They're definitely soft. Let's see if this one. They need a little bit more cooking. Maybe going to do a taste test on these beans and ham. They've been cooking for about a little over 2 hours. Bring you right back. Alright, back with you. I'm going to do a taste test on these beans. What you first want to do, and you can do this inside the pot, it's just easier for me to show out here. Just take and smash them. See how soft they are. You smash it. Get a big spoon and smash them on the side of the pot. These seem pretty good. I've got it and a little piece of ham here. Let's see how this flavor this. Now's the time if you want to season your pintos. or red beans, whatever you call it, any kind of bean you're cooking. I never put any salt in until the end. It's really good. Very good. Alright, it's now time to add the dumplings. Alright, it's time to start prepping the dumplings. Great value buttermilk biscuits, the big ones. What are these called? Flaky jumbo biscuits, yeah. Because I've been up early, I didn't want to make the dough today, so I'm doing it in the cheating way. I'm going to pull some of these apart, and let me get the camera turned back down here. Well, you see, you just don't watch the old dude. You can watch me prep how I do it. All right. You can see this has come out, and I think there's supposed to be 8 biscuits, but they're kind of always stuck together and always kind of hard to pull apart. And if you probably bought Grands or all those other brands, it would probably be a little easier dealing with. But I don't care. It's all going to eat the same and all going to be good. All right, let's see here. Get my knife here. Let me turn this up too. Let's see. We're going to turn this up to a boil. It won't take long because it was simmering on a pretty good pace. We'll add these dumplings and watch them and bring it back to a boil once I put it in, and once they're to a boil, I'll let them simmer, turn them back down to simmer for maybe 10 minutes or so until they start sinking to the bottom. I know they're done at that point. Bring it back. All right. I've got my Pinto's red beans on a boil. I know you can't see it. I've got to have all hands on deck here, so I'm going to bring it to a boil. I'm going to add my dumplings. When you do this, make sure that you have plenty of liquid. If for some reason you don't, just take your beans out, they're cooked. Separate the beans from your broth and just cook them like that and put them all back together. It takes them about 15 minutes or so before they're cooked. You'll know they'll start sinking to the bottom, and these are different sizes. That is no problem. I've got about half of them in now. I'm going to stir them around a little bit so they don't stick to each other. I'll bring you here in just a minute and show you what this looks like. It's just like adding dumplings to chicken, like chicken and dumplings. So this is bean and dumplings. You could do a cornmeal dough. If you wanted cornbread dumplings in here, that would be wonderful. I've fixed that before. But I had a can of biscuits that I would use for another video. I had 1 can left, and all right, bring it back to boil. I hope you can see that without getting a fog. Bring it back to boil like it is and turn it down to simmer, to a heavy simmer. Simmer down, simmer down. And let the babies cook. Depends on how many you got in there and how much liquid you've got over the beans. I've got about 3 inches of liquid over the top of the beans. There you go. Bring it back a little bit. Time to do a taste test. Just like any other pastry, cornbread or anything, you want to check it with a toothpick. I've got a long skewer, so I don't have to get my hand down in there. I'm just going to stab one of these babies. Went through no problem. Let me get this here on my cutting board. I'll turn the camera around. Back with the taste test. It pushed through the dumpling and held. It's holding good, so I've got a feeling it's cooked. Pulls out, there's no crumbs or anything. I'm gonna cut it. I cut it in two with this skewer. So let's see here. Well, that's like really yummy. They're done, boys and girls. Goodness. If you look on the internet, I've never even seen a recipe for red beans and dumplings. I'm sure someone has done this. This recipe came from a lady in East Texas where I used to deer hunt. She would make bread every morning. She cooked on a wood stove, believe it or not, heated her house on a wood stove. Her water, she heated in a big pot that she washed her dishes in. She had a garden. She was very self-sufficient. And I felt it a privilege to get to hunt on her property, and we became friends. She was a wonderful lady. So one day I came in from hunting. She said, "I've got some red beans and dumplings." I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Well, in the mornings, you know, I left my leftover dough," because she made these wonderful pieces of, she called them biscuits, little homemade yeast rolls. It's funny because she always said she called them yeast rolls. So I said, "Well, yeah, that would be good." So she brought me a big bowl of them that had all these dumplings in. I'd never tasted them like that. You know, like cornbread with, I love a big old piece of cornbread in a bowl and poured beans over the top and some tomato relish or chow chow on top. Oh man, that's some good eating. So anyway, I tried it. They were so good. I said, "Well, how do you do this? I want to remember this." And so, you know, she told me how she just used her leftover scraps of dough when she made beans. And she made like 3 pots of beans a week. She would share with her family and her friends. That's what cooking's about to me. It's sharing and caring and leaving a mark, so my great-grandchildren or grandchildren will know what I'm doing and what the old dude's up to. So let me take another bite of here. That's so good. Let me get a test bowl. That's the joys of being a cook. All right, let's go in for the real taste test. Got me a small bowl. Well, actually, it's a large cup. Yeah, get here. Big man just came into the kitchen. He said, "Daddy, I can." It's the ham is in here. The dumplings. And the cooked pinto beans, or as I call them, red beans. I looked up where the red beans, why pinto beans in Texas were called red beans. It goes back to the Spanish tradition of a type of bean. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, he explained, because everybody that I've known growing up, when you said, "How about a bowl of red beans?" it was always pintos. Other parts of the country, they're kidney beans and everything else. So I have not salted this. The ham has salt in it, so yeah, let's get a taste test here. Yeah. Man, that's some good stuff. Dead burn, that's good. I mean, like, really, really good. I'm also going to have some collard greens that I had from a cook the other day, and I froze a bunch that's already cooked. And so our dinner this evening will be pinto beans, red beans with dumplings, pinto beans with dumplings, whatever you want to call them, and collard greens. They're cooked with bacon and onion and red pepper flakes. Anyway, as I keep staring at this, like, you jump in my mouth, get in my belly, I'm going to finish eating my sample. And I will see y'all in the next video. Please share, comment, and like these videos. Every time you do that, it brings the eyes open to YouTube, and they say, hey, here's an old dude in Louisville, Texas. We need to look at him. We may need to want to put some advertising about the truthful advertising around him, because that's me. What you see is what you get. Thank you much. Talk to y'all later.